Enthusiasm. The defense suffocating, and then excellent offensive play, especially on the break.
That he could be able to get a shot up. Watch him with another steal. And a great pass as he saw the help coming.
58, the lead is 21.
Watch it, man. He's made some really good plays here.
Working on his stuff. Dunk! Dunk! I mean, dunk! And Mike Brown took another timeout because you just had a guy dribble from the...
And hang around with a good team. Paul George, what a great cut with a slam dunk.
They've had two of those tonight where the Raptors have broken down in terms of the screen situation, communicating, getting hung up on it.
To the post, Paul George showing some moves at the rim.
You got to just put him on the box.
Oh, he went through his legs.
He went that. Then you get everybody else into the flow. Paul George watching between his legs backwards, just enough to gather himself.
8 in the first half. The best scorer in the third quarter is Paul George.
Oh, yes. There was no way they could defend it.
Well, it's exactly what Indiana did in Brooklyn on Monday night. They outscored the Nets 30-19.
George has worked on the most this year. He's against Paul. To the baseline to freedom.
George outside the post against Allen Anderson, drives inside, floats and scores. 26 for Paul George. He and Stevenson have matched each other, and that's the fourth.
Sellout out at 18,203, offering ear-splitting approval. George, see, that's
Paul George will love that. Oh, came out of the pocket with that one with the left. Got his body into Jeff Green, who couldn't have gotten it. I'm not sure he was prepared for how hard guys were playing against him.
Paul George goes inside, scores, and a foul.
I'm telling you, Paul George, you don't expect to see this much, but the determination, his ball handling ability.
West, shot clock at 5. Hibbert begging for it inside. Back to George, lets another three go and hits it again.
Paul George, corner, 3. Hit it and got fouled.
First shot he takes coming off.
Shot clock at 4. Here's Paul George, a 3, got it, and a foul.
BG.
Keeping your hands up and all that kind of contact becomes incidental because of verticality.
George, what a difficult
shot off the screen roll. Beautiful little fading jump shot over Shane Battier.
Now for the Pacers, replacing David West is Paul George in the corner. That was over Joe Johnson with the shot clock expiring. It's a
no, but he's got a solid set of skills, and there's a steal. Watch out, George. Showtime's it with the left hand.
Ball down the lane. Outside, broken up by George. He'll go all the way.
Did you see him throw it up? Paul George is out.
by Paul. Equipment, Pacers power moves of the game.
So Paul George is able to get out and power that one.
Against this Pacer interior defense.
George makes it looky. There's the answer. Down to 7. Into the corner.
Too much part of their attack. They go to George anywhere on that left block.
Foul's going to be called. +1. Dudley.
You talk about a meteoric rise. From what Paul George has done.
I've seen him all season long. He's been razor sharp. George for 3. Bingo!
So from that range.
Got to make good, crisp passes.
Because of the length of Indiana.
Paul George goes bingo again.
Yeah, this kid is just blown.
And you've got to bring him out.
Paul George, as Batum went behind the pick. West hands it back to George. He pulls up from the elbow and hits it.
Averages about 3 a game.
They go behind the pick on Paul George. And going down here, 5 of 17. George takes a short jumper and hit Gooderback. Paul George looking to answer for Indiana, and he does. Pocket pick by West. Great steal. They lob it up left side, and the dump.
And Frank Vogel has got them to play.
Nice backdoor cut.
Paul George.
There he is. Open off a pick. Takes the 3 and drills it.
Something for Paul George.
There it is. Catch and shoot 3, and he hits the bottom 3. Is blocked maybe by Lillard again. George gets it back. And
89% as a team. They've got really good three-point shooters coming off the bench as Paul George.
Duncan was dribbling.
Pacers have a chance to tie or take the lead. And it's Paul George. A steal and a deep three by PG. Indiana's first second quarter.
Him and Ben French, it was just natural to him and clear space with it.
And here is Paul George, the best. Paul George has 14 in the first half. Dialed through.
Yeah, he'll make plays. Just get out of his way.
And Paul George, another three. Playing against each other.
Partner, you should have seen him out here before the game. PG!
George gets inside and scores. Watch Zeller against the crafty veteran Luis Scola.
Well, he's going to get a lesson. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it.
Who earlier this year, and here's the alley-oop, Paul George throws it down.
Yes!
I'd like to say, can that be the one? 4 times they've had the ball.
That's the other reason why you don't take
A nice start, led by 6 after 1, led by 1 at the half. Around Scola. His ball, his shot is knocked down. Front court, George. Indiana running up in the front court, and look what George just did.
His athleticism, he's so long and athletic, it's off the chart on here.
Paul George.
Wow, another big. I said it because they were getting beaten 20s, sometimes 30.
They just feel traditionally throughout his career, he's been a high point scorer. That's a nice shot to grow.
But that doesn't mean he can't do it. Here he gives it up to George. Defending, you see him finishing plays like that, and I think he's just gotten so much. The Pacers only makes from 3 tonight. He's 3 out of 4 beyond the arc of the quarter, making 4 out. Isaiah Thomas of Sacramento. Then George stealing the pass, showing all kinds of.
They just never got in position on that one.
First best.
In some kind of action together.
He's Scola the rebound.
You get back to him, he steps into another one. You get it, you're right, partner. And he knocks down the 3. Now, Lance Stevenson has to get back.
For Indiana?
I think so. I think the Miami's still the champion. That's who they have to dethrone. It's a beautiful move with a lob of his own to George.
George, turnaround jumper's good. George, the mid-range jumper. Paul George puts up a 3, puts it in for Dwyane Wade. Paul George with the jump shot. That's good.
Gives the Rockets the 9-4 lead. Down the other end, George. Full stat line. Here's George, the quick release. And
Balls to Paul George. He's in transition now. And his shot is good as he's work as George Hill sets the screen. Paul gets to the basket. Left hand got it. Green has hit 2 threes now. And here's Paul George over Humphrey. Paul George, a 3. Good again. But still a very talented roster here in Brooklyn. Paul George tosses it against Boston. Paul George gets loose for a 3.
Stevenson, go behind your back. I think you got a play to be made and ball comes back in your hands. Paul to here. They're saying the offense threw it out of bounds. They didn't reset it.
And that's what happened on that play.
Now Paul George drives and hit.
Off the line. You can't let him straight line to the back. Oh, yes!
Paul George, it is a 3!
Running to the corner, away from the basket. Able to lift up clean.
Save to Scola. To a
great pass.
Paul George who throws it down.
It's not a good pass. It's a great pass. Young people, when you've got some.
George Hill, 21 points. Paul George floats up. Now Paul George sets his feet for 3. He's defending Mahimi. Paul George, a 3, and Indiana has an extra time. Stevenson ahead to Paul George.
And 1. Gotta be. Got to be
not a hard foul at all. Paul was able to complete his play.
Because he didn't know.
Raptors Jack are 4 and 2. Oh, backdoor cut, and Paul George with a slam dunk. Indiana 5 and 3. George Hill swings it up top. Here's Paul George. George off of the bounce, pulls up, knocks it. 2 to go. Paul George, Ross on him. George still makes it.
Here's it. Goes again. The left.
A little bit. Sometimes when you come off an injury, it's tough.
George runs around the screen, leaves it out for Scola. About a 16-footer, good. George.
And Mike Harris is in the ballgame. Because Favors has those fouls.
Well, watch that paint battle. They average 48. Indiana gives up just 37.
Kawhi Leonard. So their system has been in place and has worked very, very successful.
Hibbert in the post, got it, and
you're going to James this way. Go to the other side.
Hibbert in the paint.
Good read, really good read. I mean, Paul.
Paul George finds mcgee, who scores.
George was telling him to go. I mean, his teammates have got to be ecstatic for the way he...
For DeMar DeRozan. Here's David West with a slam.
Hibbert, Stevenson, ahead now to Paul George. Nice pass to Hill.
I never needed the mentality for guys to continue to look for